Well, that's good because I was about to say some horrendous.
There we are. Welcome back to Deep Fried Pixels.
We just did like 30 minutes of
episode
show.
13.
Thanks, Josh.
Friday 13th.
Fucking
Josh dropped the ball. He just left. He had to go get on the pole. But he completely just ruined the whole beginning of the show.
Yeah.
God, it was so good too. I can't believe the clowns.
Yeah. Everything was there. We had it all in place. We had devil stick jugglers.
Dude, it was good.
Jugglers.
We had a good bit.
It was like we basically had the first act of Labyrinth.
Yeah.
And we were starting to perfectly do like some Celtic knotwork, weaving it into the second act of the never-ending story, and it's all fucking shattered and gone now.
Yeah, look how angry you made Brandon.
Look, I'm this far into a 32.
It's a shame.
You gotta drink them cold. You gotta keep them cold too.
Yeah, now you gotta get that another one. You got a warm one there behind you somewhere, don't you? I used to have a boss that had that he was straight off the boat. Well, I don't know if that's appropriate to say. I don't get canceled. That's what I would always used to say. Straight off the boat would be like somebody that's like just moved from another country. I guess I don't know if it's still appropriate to say that, right?
I thought you meant like a riverboat captain.
Yeah, I mean, well,
no offense,
but he was from Ireland, right? Like, so he was super Irish, and from Dublin, and he'd have a 6-pack of Guinness that sat on his desk every day, and about 4 o'clock every day, he would just reach over and grab one, pop the top, and drink it.
Sure.
It's like I never, I get it. That's how they drank them over there. They didn't drink them cold, but like, I can't imagine.
Me personally, I don't like a Guinness cold, let alone warm. Really, I feel like there's a lot of other colors of shoe polish that I kind of feel taste better. But I don't like IPA and that kind of stuff either. I'm kind of a cheap beer guy. I really like.
Me too. I don't. Modelo, my favorite's a High Life in a bottle.
Yeah, I like toilet water, man.
Me too. I'll if I'm gonna be all fancy dancy, I'll have like a Yingling.
You get your fucking margarita mixer out, and you put some Parrot rum in there, and you put on some Jimmy Buffett, and just Parrot head out.
Waste away again in Margaritaville.
Your house is full of just 5-gallon buckets full of shit. That's where you poop. That's where that's where
you poop, and it's not someone else's shit, or you're collecting it.
Have you heard about those when he was alive? The parent had
poo collector.
Had all these 5-gallon buckets in the field. They would just leave them full of piss and shit because they couldn't hold their pee or shit, I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say about that.
It's called the Gathering of the Juggalos, and it's a pretty awesome event.
If I could be a fly on a wall somewhere, that would be one of the places I'd like to be. I don't know that I'd actually ever want to go and be a part of it because it seems like it would be stinky and disgusting. But also, what a people watching event.
I think that the three of us should meet up and host Deep Fried Pixels from the Gathering of the
Juggalos.
Yeah,
only if we can have Chris Ledoux involved.
Yeah. Oh, he'll meet us. Do you think he won't meet us at the Gathering of the Juggalos? He's like head juggalo. He'd probably get us on stage.
He's a high bishop, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's got that. We could work his pigeon toe into like a handicap sticker.
Right. Yeah. Plus, he's just got. I mean, put a little white face paint on that guy. He's born. He's born for that, man. He knows.
Yeah, I promised him I would never go unless I took him.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, let's get him on the horn.
We could make it happen. We could do it. We could do a live broadcast. We can run a camper.
Yep. I'm due for a Gathering of the Juggalos. There's a picture out there floating around on the internet of some lady, and she's got like a Confederate flag bikini, and she's smoking a cigarette, and she looks like I think it was in a meme, and it was like when your stepmom catches you pounding off, but she's DTF. It wasn't your stepmom. It was like before all the stepmom stuff. And I remember seeing it and just laughing so hard and being like, the really fucked up thing is like, I can't figure out if this is from just some music festival there or the Gathering of the Juggalos. Like it could be at any, like it's just at such a certain level of societal decay where I was just like, man, I need to go see that with my own two eyes.
Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be a hard sell to my wife.
Well, bring her.
I mean, well, I guess that might be what, she also, as much as she would want to go, would not want to be there in the heat and whatnots, bodily fluids for
Sure
2 days, 2 or 3 days, or have a long.
I would hate it too, but I would do it just for the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think I could power through it, right?
Look,
but
I would go to the Gathering of the Juggalos 5 times before I would ever go to Burning Man.
no, I wouldn't do.
But that's
Burning
just
Man.
me personally.
Why they always have such horror videos every year? Do you see them trying to get out this year in like the sandstorm and they couldn't see 2 feet in front of their face?
Climate protesters on the on reservation land, and then the res police show up and just mow them down. Like you all your rules don't mean jack out here, pal. Like you think like you're lucky we don't haul you off and just disappear you.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't do Burning Man.
They couldn't get out. Yeah, they couldn't get out there because that's not mud either. That's like clay. Like Brandon, I don't know if you remember the day that we went out to Anza Borrego and it was like 110 degrees out there that day. We went back up into Fish Creek and I started feeling my tires slip, and I look out and sure enough, it's clay, but it's like silt. Like once you get bogged down in it and you spin your tires, it gets stuck in between your rotors and everything, and it just clogs everything up. And the deeper you get into it, the more it sucks the vehicle down in, and you just cannot get out. And those deserts, those dry washes, dry lake beds are all full of that kind of stuff. And it's just, it's not quicksand, but it's quick mud.
You don't see it until you're in it.
Yeah, and once you're stuck in it, you're stuck in it, man. You ain't getting out until it dries up, or you get winched out from a ways away. Like, it's no joke. That's what we were gonna go. Dad took Brandon and his wife out to the desert one day, and I started hitting patches of it because it had rained a little bit recently, but everything was like way drier than I thought it should have been. And I was like, well, we'll see how it goes. And I started sinking through it a little bit, and I was like, all right, guys, we're turning around because it's too hot out here to get stuck. So we went up to a higher elevation place called Fonts Point, and that's through the sand mostly, and that was pretty cool. But still,
that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Way too hot, just way too hot.
No, see, I'm not trying to get stuck in the desert.
Heck no, man, no way. I rescued people one time that had been out in the desert for a week and a half.
Jesus.
Yeah, they had just run out of water a couple days before they saw me. And they were in a Subaru, and I got them back to the road and called them AAA because they were like, we got AAA, we have AAA, but we couldn't, like, we tried hiking back to get reception. We don't get reception anywhere, and it was like 5 miles down the road where they could get reception. So I brought them far enough to call for reception. Gave them all the water.
Nightmare.
Gave them all the water I had, and I was just like, man, good luck. Go home and don't ever come back here with a Subaru.
Poor Subaru.
Yeah, and that was way out like Mojave Road, like middle of nowhere, man. They'd have totally died.
Hey, saved the day.
Yeah, and I was in a caravan in Moab once too, where we came across some hikers that had been stuck for a few days wandering around the labyrinth, and that's a gnarly area. Like if you go to, what's it? I know it by the trail. It's called Elephant Hill, the labyrinth. But what's the name of the place? Let me look here quick. Bear with me. This is important stuff. The name of the actual Monticello, Monticello, something like that. But it's down it's down on the south end of Canyonlands, and everything looks the same out there. And we were coming back on the trail, and these it was a group of girls who had gotten separated from their boyfriends, and they'd been out there for about 3 nights. And they started crying when they saw us. They were obviously like, we got it at 15 feet, and I'm like, these ladies have not showered. Oh my gosh, you can smell it.
Keep going.
But they were coming down the wrong way on the road. Like the way out of the park was about 3-4 miles. Like in the opposite direction of what they were doing. So if they would have kept going the way that they were going before they saw us, they would have not made it.
No bueno.
That's crazy, man. That would be
That's nightmare fuel.
And I think about it, and I'm just like, man, when I go out to those places, I do so much planning and so much like, here's how many days we're going to spend at this spot or that spot. We're going to check in with people. Here's where we get cell phone reception that I know of. Here's where we don't. Like we go and we plan that stuff. And I'm just like, the digital age has made it so easy to buy a 4Runner or a Tacoma and go out and just snap off an antler, like it's scary. It's scary. People can just kind of, they call it death by GPS a lot of times, but I'm just like, man, it's the frontier seems smaller, but it's still the frontier,
Yeah, there's one of my YouTube holes. I went down, I found like a guy that does all kind of like vehicle recoveries out in like maybe it's Utah or something.
Is it Matt's Recovery?
Yeah, he's got that badass Jeep.
Yep.
Or whatever the thing is. I don't think it's a Jeep. Whatever that thing is.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, and then there's another guy that helps those guys out, Rory from Moab Motorsports, and he's the guy you don't want to have to call, but if you need anybody out there, he's the guy you want to call.
He's the guy you want to call for sure, because like he'll come get your ass, but like if he has to come get you, you're stuck for sure. Yeah. But like it's crazy how he finds people and all that kind of stuff. And
I think Rory's on a couple of those episodes of Matt's Towing. I haven't watched all the Matt's Towing stuff, or Matt's Off-Road Recovery stuff, but I think Rory's on there. He's got the old wrecker. That's tow mater or trail mater, it's called.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got that and then at Matt's Recovery, he's got that new whatever that thing is, that badass tow truck thing he built.
Yeah, those guys all have custom stuff, and they'll go. Rory's got a cool channel too. Like he's Matt's Recovery is more based by like western Utah, like what's the area? Hurricane, the locals call it. That's like Sand Hollow. He goes out in all of those areas. Rory's more like Moab area.
Even that Jeep Cherokee he had, that thing was badass.
But those guys will post videos of them taking the wrecker and driving it like backwards up the crazy obstacles that people are like, check it out, I'm doing this in my JK or whatever. It's like, they're struggling to go down it like forward. He's going out it backwards, like hanging halfway out of the cab, like talking while he's doing it. Like these guys just, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
Well, it's pretty wild to see like what people try to go out in the desert in. Like people going out there in Priuses and shit. Like, what are you? Why are you out here?
Yeah. Well, the traction control, man. That's the reason. That's the reason I saw Subarus. I saw Subarus stranded in California. I saw Subarus stranded in the middle of everywhere.
Look, I'm a Subaru fan. I've owned many Subarus, but I would never try to take one out in something like that.
The problem is that they have such excellent traction control that when you're driving on sand in them, by the time you realize the sand is too deep or too loose or you're on too much of an incline, it's too late. And on a Subaru, you can't really air down your tires that much, right? Like if you got street tires,
they're very small tires.
Yeah, you air them down to 12 psi, and you're riding on the rim, and you haven't increased your footprint by more than a quarter inch. So it's kind of you know what I mean? Like you just don't really get. You need big tires to air down to increase your footprint in the sand.
Yeah, make them fat.
And right, but also make them pliable, right? So they kind of go over. They like wrap around the obstacles as opposed to just like getting stuck in them,
digging through them.
Yeah, and so the traction control in those things is so amazing that it really ends up getting people way over their heads before they realize what's going on.
Yeah, I did love my little Subarus though. Those things are tanks.
Well, those badass, man. They always have been. You know, and I think the older ones, honestly, the ones that look like anime spaceships. Those ones were awesome because they had a lot more. I think they actually had more clearance than the newer ones do stock. Yeah. I think the newer ones are lower to the ground to increase fuel performance and that kind of stuff. But yeah,
I had a little stick shift Subaru Forester at one point. Love that thing. Totally.
I think I remember that. Yeah, no,
no, I don't think that was the one that you remember would have been the I had a silver like Outback.
Yeah, Outback.
But no, I had before that. I had another one, and man, I love that thing. But I hit a not a pothole, but a culvert, like a drainage culvert thing, and like, you know, a neighborhood or whatever. Like my tire dropped down into the damn drainage culvert, and it blew out the spider gear in it, or whatever that is, and which sounded very expensive, but it totaled the car. Like whatever the hell the spider gear is in the transmission totaled the car. So
yeah, I was telling Natasha about that, about how people don't realize how easy it is to total a car, you know, in the sense of a financial thing, you know. It's like, dude, yeah, it does not take much at all.
Especially mechanical stuff like that, right? Like, I mean, definitely, you know, because I think you only have to do like 60-70% of the car before they'll total it or something like that.
Yeah, well, the quickest way to total a vehicle is the A pillar or B pillar. Like if you get like the pillars that go on the front, if either of those gets dented or messed up in any way, your car's totaled. Speaking
of Subarus and A pillars, I found out too, like whenever I, you know, was all into them, that people, Jaws of Life, like firefighters, the Jaws of Life have to be trained specifically how to cut open Subarus, because it's different to cut a Subaru open than any other car, because they have these rings that go around in the inside of them. The reason they're so safe is they have these 3 rings that go through the pillars, and the pillars all the pillars in Subarus are solid. They've got like 7 layers of steel with a rod through the middle of them. And so a Jaws of Life cannot cut through an A pillar on a Subaru. They have to they have to saw through the roof and then rip the roof back. They can't cut through the A pillars at all.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's how strong they are.
Real strong.
Real strong. That's why, like, you know, like you're pretty damn safe in a Subaru.
Yeah.
You got to do some. You got to like be one of those. Have you ever seen that thing in Alaska where they throw the cars off the cliff? You got to do one of those kind of things where you're like really. I think that's in Kodiak too, isn't it? Or no, is it? I don't know where that's at. Maybe that's not Kodiak. Where they fling it's like 4th of July, I think, where they fling cars off the cliff. Have you ever seen that, Brandon?
No.
So I guess they can't. You know, they can't have fireworks in Alaska. So I guess this thing they do. I don't remember if it's Kodiak or not.
Glacier View.
They huck these cars off a mountain.
Yeah, they got a big cliff, and they just put a brick on the gas pedal type of a deal and just drive them off the cliff, and the crowd watches below.
All right, let's watch some. Let's watch a couple. It's the
reaction videos. It's deep fried reactions. Oh, this stuff's great. I love this stuff. And you've never seen this, Brandon?
No, I've never seen this. Yeah,
man, I would love to just import my family to Alaska and go live this way, straight up.
I've got several friends that have, you know, moved from, you know, the States up there, and it seems like, I mean, it's a rough way to live for sure.
You're definitely, it's frontier time, you know, like you're on your own to a pretty big degree. But if you live close to like Juneau, you kind of have quite a bit of creature comforts still.
The beauty is just next level, though.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So beautiful there.
One of our guests lived up there for a while before we were on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Nothing says 4th of July like this.
Dude.
Oh, Jesus.
There's a big lake. There's a big lake too in between the crowd.
That's wild.
Oh my God.
I don't look too far in between the crowd.
Man,
I'm sorry.
That's pretty.
That's not far away from the crowd.
No, there it is. There's a big lake in between. There's a big body of water in between the crowd and the cliff there. You're just not seeing it here.
Oh. I mean, I'm still in good shape. I actually didn't do too bad.
You drive it out of there.
That didn't do yeah.
They give you an award if you can drive it out of there?
I don't know.
Whoa, Jesus Christ.
Got it.
It's awesome. I guess you get to pick your angle.
Yeah.
Do you get, or what's the awards? Is there like a distance award or?
Yeah, it's got to be distance mostly. But, man, I mean, this is something that I would go there for. Like,
Absolutely.
alone, just make the pilgrimage.
Oh, that he went through the trees.
Dude.
That's good stuff. See, this is where we need to make a pilgrimage to. Not as much as the juggalos. I'd rather go to something like this, honestly. Less VD, I think.
We'll see if we
not
can
a lot less, but a less.
We'll see if we can get the family from Alaskan Bush people to show up.
Oh yeah,
a
bunch of weirdos.
We'll stay with them.
Ah. I like that it looks like a lot of these vehicles they resurrect in order to do this. They just need it to just go to drive in a straight line.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to go far.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
because if I had a whole shit bucket, I'd donate it to do this.
They take whatever from the dump or from what I mean. Like up there, it's
damn.
Oh, it's flying.
Oh, too. Oh, that one just stuck it. That looked like a Suburban.
Minor structural damage on that one.
Damn. Oh, it hit another car, it looks like.
This is literally the best version of lawn darts anyone
I love the ominous horn. Oh, Jesus. Is that a bus?
Camper thing. Right?
It was. I think we're talking past tense now.
I wonder who has to go clean this up.
I'm sure whoever runs the local dump or salvage yard just goes in there with a fork loader or whatever they call it.
I love
it in here.
Yeah, the MC is just cackling in the background. I love it.
What? Wait, was that a Jeep Eagle?
It may have been. They said an AMC. Last life of an AMC.
I saw the comment says it keeps getting better and better. That RV.
And he came through the trees.
There's got to be a jump right there.
Yeah, it must be.
Poor squirrel is just like, what the
fuck? Right. He's just burying an acorn, and then all of a sudden, rods from Gad.
It's going to be coming out about the exact same place.
Ouch.
I want him to put some thermite in them.
Dude. How cool would that be if they had some big landmines full of
or even smoke, different colored smoke coming off of it.
Yeah.
Stuff full of tannerite. If they hit it in the right spot, it lit the charge and blew them up off the side of the mountain.
Hell yeah.
So they're doing it in 5-second intervals. Okay, there goes one.
How much fun would it be to be on the crew up top?
Launching them?
Bricking, just bricking the gas pedals and getting out of the way.
There's gonna be a bunch of them coming here.
I wonder if they actually do have engines in them, though, or are they somehow launching them?
No, they have engines.
You think so? Because then they would have to have gas and oil and everything, and that seems
they're stripped out. From what I understand, they're stripped out mostly, and they have them basically on a what was it? They got them on some sort of rig, but they're mostly stripped down, so they don't have anything inside them. Just enough to hook up the throttle and let them rip.
I figured maybe they had them on one of those things that like the crash tests are on, like one of those kind of launching things.
Oh, track? No. Well, they might now. I don't know. I feel like that's the sort of thing though that in our lifetime we'll see it banned.
But no, we're talking about Alaskans here. They're totally putting a brick on the pedal.
No, I mean it's maybe.
I mean they're just raw and down. They're not going to use extra resources to build some bullshit thing when you can just put a brick on the pedal.
Well, yeah, I don't remember. I remember seeing a video of it once, and my memory, if it's serving me correctly, has them opening the door, putting something down there to wedge it down, and then just getting out of the way and being like.
Or there's another hill up there.
No, it's a flat. It's a flat.
Oh, is it?
For sure. Yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, I want to see him launch them. I want to be a launcher. You know, or here's what we could do. Another thing that we could do is a deep fried Pixels outing. We could start having some outings. We could do the what is it? Not the Le Mans, but it's like the Lemons, the 500 miles, 500.
Oh man, yeah. The
what is it
that
called? It's not Le Mans. It's the
it's
Lemons. It's like the
500.
The Le Mans, the Lemons 500 or something like that. But do you know what that is, Brandon? Have you ever heard of that?
The Le Mans 500?
No, not the Le Mans 500. It's called the.
It's just called Lemons, I think.
The Lemons 500, but it's you have to buy a car for like $1,000.
No, it's got to be less. It's got to be 500.
500.
And
Oh, well, okay, then maybe it is.
Most people in that lie about how much they spend.
Sure.
Right.
24 hours of Lemons.
Yeah,
Instead of 24 hours of Le Mans, it's 24 hours of Lemons. Yeah. And your car has to drive for 24 hours. And then your team has to get the car around the track for 24 hours. That's all you got to do. And the car has to cost $500.
Dang.
I think that would be fun. It would be real fun.
It would
just buy an old beater, a whole Honda Civic for $500.
Dude, yeah. I get some little Japanese car. Shit.
Here we go. In the
Subaru. You get a Subaru.
in the private chat, there's a video with some making cars fly on the 4th of July. Some of the footage that I was talking about.
All right. Let's check here. Let me just.
If you skip to like 446-ish, so they do have them on a. It looks like they have a guide wire.
They do they?
And they pull them. I think they pull. Yeah, they pull them on that. So they.
Oh, so they probably don't have engines.
So there's some video. There's some video there from the top where you can actually see. Yeah, like I said, if you skip to like 446
GoPro Hero 2s to mount on.
Because that seems so they did have gas and they would explode. Some of them
not
explode, but
they
would definitely catch on fire.
Locking strap to hold the accelerator to the floor.
Oh, okay. It does have a engine in it. All right.
Scott Reese is a friend of Smith's and Dustin's. He was also up on the bluff recording the launches on his Samsung.
So you can see the body
that's awesome. That's
the body
so
of water
cool.
there I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He also shot his reaction.
Best are the best.
Which was awesome because that's what I totally look for as a video storyteller. Is I want to see the emotion of the moment, and Scott was awesome to capture that.
Woo! Not bad. Woo!
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be better to do it from the top.
To ask a couple of questions of people in the crowd.
I thought they were running it off of that bush. What did you think of that? That was crazy.
It's like, guys, I'm gonna go jerk off to this later.
I think it scared the baby. Yeah,
It scared the baby.
Awesome.
It scared the baby.
This baby's stupid. Don't listen to that baby.
It's just like a 12-year-old kid with a pacifier.
Yeah.
What?
I'm scared.
And then I grabbed my light stand with the GoPro, jumped on the four-wheeler. It was about a mile.
Ooh, look at that thing.
To the top.
What is that, a Honda Passport?
Or they set the third
was.
vehicle off.
It
I
was.
set the white trap with the GoPro
Ready
that
to
was
go.
on the light stand. And then that's when I got the
Well,
countdown.
no, that one's on some kind of thing.
5, 4,
Oh, it's just on a guide to keep it, I guess,
2,
straight.
1. And like you like to say, there's more to do in Glacier View. Okay, about 1 minute, minute and a half. We'll have the next one coming down the pike.
That last vehicle, the black van, the one that I had the 2 Hero 3 GoPros in, was the last vehicle to go off. I had some extra GoPros, so I set one at the base of the ramp.
It must be illegal for these guys to play the Dukes of Hazzard theme
To see that front-on shot of the car.
Right.
up like that far
And then I set
north, and
another
that's
one
just
off
not
to the
why
right
they're
side.
doing it.
Almost set it in front of that curve.
Okay, we're ready to go.
You could at least do the horn. Better not.
Here's the thing I learned
Right.
about the GoPro mounting system. Those sticky pads that come with the GoPros, those things are
Dude.
great.
True story.
Yeah, they are.
I've got one that's been on
When
my
the van
rig
hit
since
the bulldozer,
2013.
The camera stayed in place.
No, those damn things will stay. They
Pardon the
do not
nerding
want
out,
to come
but
off.
A lot of folks probably want to know exactly how many cameras I had. So I had 4 Hero 3s. I had 2 Hero 2s.
I'm actually more interested
had
in why he
a
doesn't, why he
Panasonic,
shaves his mustache off.
HC X920.
He got laid one day that
I
way.
had this guy
And it just stuck.
Cam.
Pigeon
I had my
superstition.
iPhone, and
It's
Now
stuck.
we get some good gas.
I also had.
I
Scott
guess
Reese,
it's probably more a
William
functional
H.
thing. He
Bynum
maybe doesn't like
III.
getting shit in
He was
it.
the guy with the drone.
He doesn't like
David
getting
Laser,
shit.
he had
I mean, I can't think of any other
Honda
reason.
coming over the cliff from the bottom, which was
Right.
cool. And then
I got my yams done the same way, except it's reversed.
I mean, because it looks stupid, you know. It's not-
So after the shoot, this is when I discovered.
There's
my biggest
no woman
disappointment
that goes, I just love a man with just a goatee and
Waterproof
clearly
Hero
shaved
2
mustache.
That was on the Honda.
Well, it takes a lot of work.
But
to
but it's
maintain
not.
that.
He's got that
right there on
extra.
the
It
car.
comes up
The
the
battery
sides
was
of the
ripped out.
goatee. It's not
Well,
just
obviously,
the
yeah,
goatee.
he
It's
looks
like
like an old
this is what
beat.
happened.
yeah, he's
At
got
that
like the
instant,
extra that
camera
comes
sees
up to the
right
mustache
into
where
the
it should
file
be.
of the car.
You know what he's
I
got
literally
there is
went
he's
home,
got a real
tried for
pickle
couple
tickler.
hours to recover the
It's like
images.
there's, you know what I mean? Like when you first started growing, it was that one part you couldn't grow, right? That
Yeah,
connected
now
it.
it's balls,
right as the
right?
car
Yeah.
started to go over the cliff. So that was a big disappointment.
Oh, Your goatee's a big disappointment.
Now I can
But
see
anyway,
his
goddamn,
his
dude.
And then
goatee
other
is just
one
hair
that was
spilling
my
out of
bike
his
van,
mouth.
When I picked it up from the bottom of the cliff, the camera was powered up, but it was not recording. When I looked at it later on the
Just like us.
the first
Was
shot
not
was
recording.
the van sitting at the top of the cliff, and the next was of me looking into the camera at the
In
bottom.
my goatee.
Maybe if
You
somebody
know what? Though
knows
God
what
bless,
watched
God
this
bless this
video.
guy for putting this video out there, man. Even if we've sworn battle on his goatee, this dude's done us a great public service.
Has he?
Yeah, man. He
Yeah.
did video.
He's a hero,
He got like unfettered video footage from the top of that.
No. Okay.
entire
Fair
event.
enough.
I mean,
Fair enough.
That's pretty amazing. Like what, you know, if you tried to go up there on your own, you'd have to go full on modify a modified.
Maybe that's part of the
modified
entry.
bulldozer.
They don't allow mustaches up there.
That's right. We got a rule about mustaches. You're gonna have to take just the top of it off because it's real windy up there. And
Bill has one. He's on the
There you go.
microphone now. He gets real touchy about his mustache, so we just all shave ours.
that's right. We ain't gonna get into the details, but let's just say you ain't allowed to bring thumbtacks up there neither.
He gets threatened easily.
Oh,
Look at that. See? Love, hate.
What's
Oh.
his 6 months
What are the ones-
beard time
Oh, they
lapse?
don't like
What?
they don't like the Amish beard, huh?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're
Look,
new here,
Amish people eat a lot
I
of
was
pickled
fishing here.
stuff, so that would make
I don't
sense
know
that they
why.
don't
I
like
love it.
rough, I think
all the pickled stuff in your mustache would
Let's
get you.
see.
No
Like
one
it's
likes the
stinky.
Joaquin Phoenix beard, okay?
The Wolverine ones.
He
too.
purposely shaved it so when he's eating, like food's not getting caught in that
Exactly.
area. I don't know.
Shit,
hey,
that's
it's
what I
kind
just,
of a
Oh,
smart
there's nothing worse than adult braces too.
yeah, that's an unfortunate one for sure.
Hey,
They kinda
man.
separate.
Look,
I-
you just hating on somebody trying to improve themselves?
Yeah.
I will say that
Get Invisaligns.
I will say
Yeah.
this. I will
Just
say
so
this, man.
nonchalant.
As a beard owner and a mustache guy,
Beard owner.
I
You own?
if
I
I have-
lease.
yeah, if I eat buttered corn on the cob, I have to wash my face with soap immediately after because the smell of rancid butter sets in like within 15 seconds after finishing some corn on the cob.
Oh, yeah. I had some
Rancid
nice fried
butter.
chicken for lunch today and had to, it seems to like it has a wicking effect.
But here's
you
the
know,
here's the thing: is if you look at me, this guy is growing the opposite beard. As me.
What is happening?
Like he's taking.
I just
away
looking on the
everything-
screen. What
He's
is
taking
this?
away everything from the areas I'm growing in, and he's like, "No, I want to grow a lion's mane."
No, so like mine never got that ridiculous, but I did rock for a minute there. I did rock the Abe Lincoln in college.
All right. Hey, man.
It was kind of a thicker chin strappy kind of went up. Yeah, I don't know what that phase of my life was all about, but there was a moment where I it wasn't like this though.
Dude,
This is
in the 90s,
the extreme version of it.
In the 90s, it was acceptable.
Yeah,
So
it was definitely
experiment
90s,
any
late
type of
90s.
Chin strappy business
Dylan?
going on.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Dylan had one of those.
the lead singer of Smash Mouth had a chin strap, I think, well into the millennium.
Well,
Robert
somebody
Ford.
once told me that chin straps make them horny.
Was it the lead
Isn't
singer
that how
of
that
Smash
song
Mouth?
goes? Somebody once told me chin straps make me horny. I don't know.
You're
I
a
didn't
car
watch Shrek that many
carrying lunatic. I
times.
can tell you that right now. 100%.
I'm just working on this getting sued by a celebrity. We just need our opening to be celebrities calling the show and suing us.
Right. Let's set some let's set some goals for what celebrities we want to like get who we want to get on versus who we want to serve us papers.
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, dude, I mean, I'll go protest in front of his shop. I can pretty much walk there from where I live.
I would like James Brolin
Even though he's not-
survey papers.
James Brolin?
Josh Brolin's
Josh
father.
Brolin? Oh, James Brolin.
He
All right.
he
Specifically.
he slotted my papa in 62 in
Well,
Dallas
hey,
at a Rangers game.
We all know who Toby wants to kill, and that's
Hot challenge. Go on.
Oh no, I was just saying we all know Toby has some deep-seated hatred for Jim Cantori.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got a beef to settle with Donald Sutherland.
Oh yeah,
Because I do not believe that Kiefer was his best load. I believe there's another Sutherland out there that deserved to be in the Lost Boys and didn't make it.
God rest his soul.
Wait, is Donald dead?
Speaking of mediocre loads, did you hear about Dave Grohl?
Yeah, I don't care. It's none of our business.
What happened?
Let the man.
He made it our business. He's the one that put it out there.
Oh shit!
Which is, you know what? I bet the
Sutherland
reason why he
said.
did that was that I bet the baby mama was like, either you say it, you tell, or I'm going to say something.
Pay me.
He didn't want to get me. He didn't want to get me. You too.
You too, huh?
Yep.
What did the Edge do
there.
something nefarious?
No, just me. I don't know.
Bono?
Yeah, I just feel like. I feel like if something like that happens to somebody, Bono shows up and gives you a real stern talking to.
He sings you a song. He sings you a ballad.
Right. I like that. I mean, at that point, you don't need to put anybody in prison. Like it's done.
And the streets have no names. He's just like, okay, Bono, I get, dude. He's so little. He's such a tiny dude.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he like
okay,
Danzig small?
I think so. How tall do you think? We'll do a bet here. I'll look it up.
Look, man. I'm gonna. Okay. You know,
5'6"?
hot
If you
take.
don't want to play the game, Zach, that's fine.
5'6". I got money on 5'6".
Hot take. Bono's a cyborg.
Do you think he's a lizard person?
I think he's. I think he's a. I think
What-
he's from. I think he's from the future.
What'd you
And,
say, Brian?
5'6" is my guess.
What do you think, Zach?
On guessing Bono's height,
Yeah.
he
It's a new
can't.
segment.
He can't be but 5'3", sopping wet.
Guessing celebrities' heights. It's a new segment here at Deep Fried Pixels.
He
Test the waters out on this one.
This is gonna be good.
He is 5'6".
Nice.
Yeah.
What?
For
I
the
love how we're
win.
talking about Bono's height with the screen of that lady laughing at this dude's
Oh,
beard.
hold on. Let me.
Well, if you know what, if it says 5'6" online, you know he's really 5'4".
Yeah, 5'6" with like stage risers.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
there was- who did they just release pictures of? It was like what's his De Niro. They had De Niro and Al Pacino like on set for something, and they were wearing those.
Is De Niro small?
There's
Yeah,
wearing
he's
the,
tiny.
they were
Or
wearing
no.
those. Pacino. Here's the thing: Pacino is shorter than De Niro, but they had so they wanted to have him. Like you guys know that they do the riser shoes,
Yeah.
for shoots because people are different heights,
Yeah.
right? And when you shoot them, you want to like instead of putting them on an apple crate everywhere,
Yeah,
that
with
they
the eye
can
lines
stand-
together.
Yeah, you get their eye lines together for lining it up. But people were posting pictures of it, like Robert De Niro, like wearing those like 6-inch risers, and I'm just like, he's probably doing a scene with Pacino or Tom Cruise or something. Was my initial thought, and sure as shit, man, like the one of the other posts later down the line, it was him with Pacino, and I was
Nice.
just like, well, there you go, man. These guys are different heights than each other. Like, it doesn't-
Pacino just has stilts on. And he's still not tall. He's not taller than De Niro.
Yeah, they give him
they got him in the
risers
riser
just to make
shoes
him even taller.
and stilts.
Whoa!
Yeah, that was funny. This beard though is definitely the riser shoe of beards. You know, wearing those for a movie set versus wearing them out to a trip to the Golden Corral, 2 different things.
That guy definitely works at Dollar General.
Works.
I've seen him.
That guy is the Dollar
Yeah,
General.
it's sad because he can grow a full, beautiful beard.
Yeah.
Or can he?
Yeah, you can tell he shaved like 5 minutes ago, man. Look at that sucker. That's a just for men model.
It looks like he's got some thin cheeks there.
That guy could.
Whoa. What's happening here?
That dude's just doing it for the gram.
Yeah.
He didn't leave his house looking like some sort of
no one walked out like that.
Cheshire cat dropped acid. No thanks.
I'm just here for the finger sandwiches.
Plus, yeah, that guy's ready to get. Yeah, he left his house like that to go ask people at Subway if he could lick their fingers after they made his sandwich.
You guys know the date on this ham?
I like my ham old.
You know what though? I gotta say,
it.
if this dude left his house looking like that, man, kudos. And if he went to the club, yeah, check the history on his laptop.
He would be the guy at the club eating a ham sandwich in the corner.
Yeah,
Just the oldest ham I can find in town.
This guy went. This guy
Just got him in his pocket.
This guy goes to a crowded bar to take a shit. That's what. And then when somebody knocks on the stall, he's like, "Hey, I'm walking here."
That's a face built for a glory hole.
It really is. It's like a scrub daddy.
There's so much going on there, man. That poor girl. She looks like she's dressed up ready to go to the Ren Fair, and this dude just fucking her day up. She's like, I was told there was going to be contact jugglers and mead and Scottish eggs. And
His girlfriend on League of Legends loves it.
Eggs.
Scottish eggs. Beard reviews. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's tough. I put in terrible goatee, but that's a lot of fun.
You're on a list now, dude. For sure.
Oh, did you see the trailer for Y2K finally came out? Did you check that out?
Y2K. I have.
Y2K.
Man, I've been living under a rock.
Oh, it has the Snow White.
Oh, this one. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I think I sent this to you guys.
Yeah.
That's all my graphics there.
Heck yeah, bro.
I did the whole opening of this thing.
Get it on.
It should be pretty fun.
New Year's Eve, 1990, Bryan.
No Agia.
God, I remember when this all went down. It was so funny.
Dude, I was in a concert in Atlanta, and my buddy like completely thought like we were going to blow up.
Oh, yeah.
I knew a few people that went and hid in the woods.
Well, what was funny is like at midnight at the concert we were at, they set off like fireworks inside the, arena or whatever, and it scared the shit out of him. He was not in a good space, not in a good headspace. This is much better with audio.
Varsity Blues. I do remember seeing that in this trailer, and that being a memorable moment.
Can you?
Yeah, it's a vomit of nostalgia for sure. There's all kind of fun stuff in there.
Oh man, and Kyle Mooney is one of my personal favorites.
He wrote this movie.
He's got
and directed it.
He's got some. What was it, Bigsby Bear, or something?
Dude, that was a good movie.
It was great.
It was very weird.
Norm Macdonald. I met Norm at one point.
Really?
Very briefly. I mean, it's not for me to say it is more of a cool story. I don't think he remembered me 10 minutes afterwards. But he was talking to somebody that was hanging out with at the time, because that person knew him from some way or another, and called him out. He was like, "Hey, Norm," and we were over there talking to him for a second. He's like, "Oh yeah, I just got this I just got this guy, and I was sending him to ball games and stuff. And I remember it just being like this random thing that stuck in my head. And then a few years later, I see this video with Kyle Mooney called Ball Champions. And I did the research on who Kyle Mooney was, and that like Norm discovered him and put him out and sent him to baseball games to go interview people and do awkward interviews. And I put two and two together, and I was like, oh my God. Wow.
Dude, those are fucking so funny.
The Ball Champions, the Kyle Mooney stuff is still to this day, man. When people are like,
Dude.
hey, what, like, I need to be cheered up. What are some good internet videos? Ball Champions is like in my top 5 that I send to him.
Let's watch some then. Fuck it. You guys up for it?
Yeah.
You gotta watch Googling Ball Champions though.
They're live. The Giants of the Dodgers game. Talking baseball, hitting, catching, making all the plays happen. Let's talk to it.
Let's talk to it.
Dude.
Ask a quick question. Smell that green grass? Just a sweet crack of the bat. Man, it's good to be back.
Good to be back.
Ever seen them launch your Grand Slams? Ever seen them launch your Grand Slams?
I don't know what you're saying, dude.
Ever seen them launch your Grand Slams?
Oh, Grand Slam, yeah. Of course.
Is it real? Is it real?
Yeah.
It's a real great sport.
Happy Halloween.
Hope to see a few of those home run balls launch into orbit. Clayton Kershaw said the other night was the fans were, some of the best fans out in the world out there. Totally. As soon as they step up to the plate, get ready for that real rocket.
Nolo 209.
Namo 209. Namo 209. When everybody is around and we're swinging for long bombs away, how do we come around to know, man, this really is what it's for?
Yeah. Are you high right now? What? What was that? Is that a question?
Baseball. Say, have fun to the game. Catching, diving, making all the all-star right now, bro. Get out. Catching, diving. It's just for the fans. Get out, bro. Just for the fans. There's a good guys around here. Make it for the fences.
Wow, it's the worst interview I've ever had. I'm sorry, man.
No problem.
Man, rest in peace, Norm. Thank you for Kyle.
Great group of guys.
Great group of guys.
It's great. It's a great group of guys.
SF Giants, man. SF. You see that? Look, it's not that hard. SF. No, like that, bro. You gotta do it like that. Look.
I would totally be like that. I can't get it.
SF.
Man,
baby.
That dude's like double jointed in every last finger.
All right.
Yeah.
Why did they do that at this point?
Well, if he's rattled, that's what I'm thinking. Because they've gotten 2 home runs off it, and he doesn't have the control anymore.
Yeah.
The guy got the second
one.
The guy
He's just trying to relate.
That doesn't seem like the fair. That doesn't seem like the fair one right at this point.
I don't know what. The bomb got. I don't know.
This isn't. Is it for the rest of the season?
Is what is?
The Big League Boys?
The what?
The big league boys.
Big league boys? What, baseball? What about it?
Is it for? Is it going to be carried through?
Are they going to win it again, you mean? As a San Francisco fan, I hope so. But, you just never know. It has to play out.
That's the name of the game. If I said so myself.
That's right. All right, take care, guys. Good luck.
Take care.
This is me at every single sports game.
Congratulations again on the. Some great fireballs tonight.
I'm done with the media.
Yeah.
Some great fireballs.
No, I don't.
Fireball.
So good.
It is good.
Some real rockets right there.
Some real rockets.
It's good stuff.
Hey, good to be back. Some of the green grass and the balls. All right.
Launching into orbit.
Big in his white ears.
It's actually, hey, that would be hard to do. Like, if somebody were to like tell you to go out and do that, like, it's gotta be actually difficult.
I'm telling you, man. Norm was just like, this guy is unbelievable. I remember him saying it. It was such a random thing, and I was like, I got over being like starstruck pretty quick because he didn't really look at me at all.
He never addressed you.
He was just talking to the guy that knew him.
Yeah, it'll humble you real quick, right?
Whatever.
You should have
right?
said something like, "Oh, you're that."
He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Name some bullshit role he was in.
It was it was in Venice. It was in Venice Beach, and I was like, by the end of it, I was just like, man, I loved you in that college film.
That's classic, exactly.
Whatever it was, right? Just I didn't say anything, but I was just kind of like just sitting there. By the end at first I was like attentive, and by the end of it, I was just like looking away, like, okay, please, nobody see me standing here, just being completely dejected. Thank you.
I feel like he's talking to you the whole time. He's acting like Burt Reynolds and his Burt Reynolds impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was even kind of like the guy that stopped and pulled over. Like, he acknowledged him and was talking to him for a minute. Like, it had been a while. Those guys had spent some time together. Been a while since he'd seen him, but he was just kind of like still looking around like, I don't want anybody to stop and start asking for pictures or anything like that. Like, he was just kind of, I don't know. I saw Norm quite a few times at the Waterfront Cafe there in Venice, just sitting there with sunglasses on in a total like hoodie and sweatpants, looking like
eating chicken salad by himself,
looking like the Unabomber, just sitting there like not wanting to be approached but still wanting to just be outside.
Remember when we saw Fat Val Kilmer and Will Forte? They were doing MacGruber.
Yes.
And they were having lunch, and me and Zach had lunch at this little place down there, and we saw them.
Huh. Fat Val Kilmer. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, that was always a weird situation, man.
Did he have his kerchief on?
That was pre-kerchief.
Yeah.
Pre-kerchief.
Yeah. He was just Chubby Val.
Chubby Val. Well,
yeah. He was just extra helping of Val at that point.
Ice Cream Man.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P.
Sir.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Who did we lose? We lost James Earl Jones this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. James Earl Jones. Man.
Damn shame.
He had so many roles, but forever, he will always be Tulsa Doom to me. Like, what a cool, he's Darth Vader for sure and all that kind of stuff.
But dude, he was so epic in Conan, man.
But in Conan as Tulsa Doom, like, what a cool role. And just nothing. Like, they've remade Conan a couple times, and nothing that they did was as cool as that first. Nothing as prolific, I guess I'll say. I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying it's cool to me. Whatever.
I see the tear in your eye right now.
Yeah, I'm tearing up, man.
You get real emotional about Conan, don't you?
Real emotional.
He does.
No, in all honesty, man, if anything in that movie rings true today is the soundtrack. That's probably got to be my favorite soundtrack of any film ever. Like, I've done it on road trips where I've traveled for over 24 hours and only listened to that album for the entire 24 hours.
I believe
It's so funny to think of like the car driving next to you and just, like looking over and there you are.
Yeah, that's right. I'm listening to Riddle of Steel for the 20th time.
Red-eye, blood-eyed, pushing through the night with some code and jamming in the background.
Totally. Just windows down, radio up, butt naked.
Yeah, you got a shirt on so that it doesn't throw their scent off, right? But no pants.
No, absolutely.
Totally porky pigging.
I'm wearing a harness, body harness, and that's it.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. And just full eye contact until
like uncomfortably too long eye contact.
Yeah, like it makes like enough to the point where I was doing it before Fast and Furious, and I contacted the director of the show and was like, "Hey, you know what? The stare and stop was mine. How dare you? How dare you?"
I copyrighted it.
I'm classically trained.
That's what I always think. Like, especially, I have a phobia of like eating when at red lights.
Eating when you're at red lights.
Yeah, like if you're eating in the car, you find yourself eating in the car, road trips, whatever. But I always have to like eat in like, I don't know. I just don't. I feel it's weird me just sitting there stuffing my face at a red light. I mean, I guess that's probably the appropriate place to do it versus driving down the road. But
sure, my favorite thing to do is actually to save the majority of the whatever I've got in my hand at a red light, and then start eating it aggressively and stop and like make sure that the person is looking and
slowly turn
and then take a really aggressive bite and just the eye contact
like
and see
Amy
if
Adams when she's like
and see if I can get them to go on a red, because then I win.
Then I win. And the only thing that sucks is the one time you try that, you turn to the person and they're doing the exact same thing to you.
Dude, and here it's a dangerous game, right? Because like you could do it to anybody in any sort of sedan and not have to worry about it, but you got like there is endless supply of like bros and lifted trucks out here looking for a reason to shoot somebody.
Eating a Hardee's thick burger driving down the interstate.
Right. So I'm just sitting there, just munching, staring.
Baconator just dripping out of pieces.
You want a piece of me? Let me finish this Philly dip.
You have French dip and it's getting au jus everywhere, and you're
just hanging out the window. Just
you just put everything up to dip it. You just look at them.
I the very few times I've had the opportunity where somebody hasn't just drove off right away, I've been like, okay, crap, now the heat's on. Like, what's my inspiration? And I think of the Fireys from Labyrinth, especially the one that looks like what's his name, Chris Penn.
Wait, there
is a fiery. Hang on. There's a fire. You know what? Who's got the screen share?
I got it.
Let's do this. Bring it up.
What do you mean search for? Labyrinth Fire.
Search for Labyrinth Fireys.
Fireys. Okay.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and present it.
Get it queued up.
I want to. Chris Penn. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah, and so there's, image search because there's one specific one.
What do you want?
That one, no?
There's like a tubby one. God, I hate these things.
No problem. Ain't got no suitcase. Ain't got no clothes to worry about. Ain't got no real estate to worry about my daily. I just throw in my shit.
I'm just gonna pause it for a sec, just in case copyright.
Sure. Oh yeah. Okay,
scrub through it, man. There's one. It's only a specific shot of one, but poor Jennifer. There, that one.
That one, yeah. It does look.
And even that.
Yeah, him. That guy, right? The perfect
There's
frame.
Chris Penn.
Perfect frame. And if you pull up a picture of Chris Penn and you find him when he was like all bloated, red coked out, crazy Chris Penn, boom.
Hold on 1 sec. Let me show the whole screen.
Google fat Chris Penn.
See, this is the world. This is the world that I live in, man. You know, I'm at a traffic light, like, you know, I'm at a traffic light and I'm aggressively eating a sandwich, staring at
Who's
somebody.
dead,
And
God
I'm just
rest
like,
his soul. We're talking
how
about
do
a
I
lot of
want?
dead people today.
Wow. And I'm just like, you know, what do I want this person to experience? I want them to experience the horror that I felt
Oh, well.
as a child seeing the labyrinth. I mean, that's a tame picture of Chris Penn.
There, yeah,
right?
there we
Yeah,
go. There it is. There it is.
And it's like Chris Penn. It's like Chris Penn and Rodney Dangerfield.
I have to agree. You're pretty accurate with your description there.
Chris Penn and Rodney Dangerfield had a kid, and it's just like, imagine that thing hanging out of the side of a white Xterra, eating a French dip sandwich, flinging juice all over it, everything, you know, and try not to run that red light. I dare you, unless you're some bro, you know what I mean, with a lifted truck, and you're just like, I feel like.
Looks like Sean Penn's mom had sex with a Coke balloon.
I'm not, yeah, like what, like who, you know, and I run a crazy risk doing it because, like, at some point I'm going to run into somebody who's like, I'm not going to let this guy eat a sandwich at me.
Here's a
Eat a sandwich at me. Because that's what you're doing when you make when you connect, when you make that eye contact.
Yeah,
it's personal,
right?
You got to have those interpersonal experiences in life.
But for every time it's ever worked, Jennifer Connelly has run away from me.
Oh.
You're trying though.
Yeah. I'm just a misunderstood fiery. I hated that thing. I hated that scene when I was a little kid and I'd watch that movie. It scared the shit out of me. Everything else in that movie I was cool with for some reason, and that scene specifically because they're all chasing her and they want to pull her head off. And I was just like, okay, I get it. She came to the wrong neighborhood.
Yeah. That would probably frighten the shit out of me as a kid. I don't remember. I didn't see Labyrinth till like it was a little bit later. I didn't see it when it like came out.
Oh, I saw it when I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I didn't see it until
I was a little older.
much later in life. Yeah.
I was just like, man, if those guys catch her, like even after the first viewing, I was like, I know they're not going to catch her, but if they caught her, what would they do to her? You know? And as an adult, I'm just like, that's still scary because I know what I would do with Jennifer Connelly if I caught her.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm kidding. That's horrible. I would celebrate her entire family.
The place the teenage boy mind goes.
Yeah.
What a horrible joke.
Was that number 1 or number 2 that you just finished off there?
That was number 2.
Nice.
I'm all about number 2. That's why I'm.
Brandon, how's the new job treating you?
Pretty good. Yeah. Feeling pretty well.
Liking it?
Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah. It's, like I said before, it's like not a lot of stress, so I'm still trying to
you hitting your groove?
Yeah, I haven't hit my groove yet, really, but I think I will within a few more months, probably. So
I hear you.
It's just kind of getting into, Unreal, and it's all like billion fucking options to do effects and stuff. So
it's just a different way of thinking, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. It's just a different workflow. I mean, you just have to think about so many other things, and normally we would just think about the shot, right? And this, I have to make sure things work and in the game and certain views, and just a lot of tech stuff too. So
yeah,
is it like, will it procedurally break? Like if you don't do this little thing down the line, it like breaks further down if you don't have it. Is it like one of those kind of things?
It can, yeah. Like if you have like a material or something, and you start using the material, and you for instance, we work with Perforce, so it's kind of not impossible to fuck stuff up, but you can. It's easy to fix. But so like if I were to take a material that was used in a bunch of different places and edit that material, then that material changes would go down the line to whatever, right? So you'd have to, we check stuff in and out every day, and then we then submit it for code review or supervisor review, and then that gets put in the next build of the engine. And but yeah, it's definitely a different scope of stuff. You mean there's so many elements. I mean, you use it to make your own textures, which is pretty cool. I like doing that. It's working out. it's a lot of tech stuff in there. It's actually probably more creative too, honestly.
That's
A
cool.
lot more creativity with it, but there's just a heavy hand of tech in there. So.
Yeah, because you're constantly having to try and figure out how to streamline things and make it efficient.
Yeah. Well, right now we're in the look dev process, so it's like we just do whatever we want, just to get the look down, and then we can then come back and optimize it later. So that's kind of cool, but yeah.
Well, Bryan mentioned materials in Unreal. That was one thing that when I got up over that kind of wall, blew my mind was how much translation of objects is driven by materials.
Yeah.
In Unreal as opposed to,
Dude, yeah,
like that's just somewhere in offline DCCs. That's kind of something that rarely is ever an approach that's rarely ever used. And in there in Unreal, it's all sorts of everything. Every last parameter could drive the movement of an object, let alone like some displacement or whatever else, other kind of stuff. But it'll often drive the actual translation of an object. Like if
So
you,
like you can like draw maps basically. Like
if you want to make wheels move, you could do it.
How do you control it?
If you want to make,
you can do that all in the material.
If you want to make a wheel rotate, you could essentially do it through the texture, and it actually rotates the geometry.
It takes the vertexes, and then you can rotate the vertexes with a thing called world position offset. So then you can, take your stuff and then turn it. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. Like you can do fake display, or not fake. It's really displacement, but it's like just it's displacement just on that one level of mesh. It's not like subdividing it or anything.
Yeah. I did it recently.
Some cool effects with it though.
I did it recently for a commercial, and it was a kind of an up and over a wall moment for me, and I was just like, "Whoa, that was really that was game changing for me to realize that was how it was done." And then since then, developed some cool breakdown stuff, shot breakdown stuff for doing like dropping in environment stuff using a gradient that you animate. You hook to a null essentially, and animate it coming towards the camera, and everything drops down like in a gradiated way. All the trees, all the foliage drops down into place as it comes towards the camera, and then you could drive that by like flying the camera in or out. So I'll have like the actual shot camera in place, and then when it's further out, everything is lifted up, and then it drops down into place, coming back from the distance. And when you land into the actual camera view, everything is in place to do the drop-on layers of the footage that you added in, and then everything else, all the other kind of Doughboy renders, that kind of stuff. Real fast, fascinating shit, right?
That is pretty cool.
I
never thought about running animations with gradients.
But driving,
like that.
Driving.
It's got my mind moving.
Yeah, that's kind of an effects. Like that was kind of coming from. Well, I don't want to say coming from effects background because I've never really done effects, but any of the effects stuff I've done I've always used gradients in some portion.
Mm-hmm. Just like it's always gradients. Yeah, driving sort of sources or masks or whatever, and that's all, dude. Most of the effects in Unreal is like 75% just materials.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's like either you got your sprite, you got to make sure in the materials you can get fucking insane. It's pretty cool how much you can break it down and do all this cool stuff with it though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they can get pretty unruly at times.
Have you gotten into doing like creating structs or using blueprints to manage that stuff yet? That's like
a little bit. Yeah, I've been getting into I like blueprints a lot. That's pretty cool.
The blueprint stuff is cool, man. I don't do any C++ programming myself, but that was kind of in the little bit of game experience that I had. That was kind of a cool aspect of it in my mind, was like where the blueprints break up from actual scripting, like where it's more efficient to script something in C++ and edit that stuff rather than doing a blueprint for it. Getting kind of way down into the weeds.
If I never else, then again, I'll be perfectly okay with it.
Yeah, well, and that's the cool. Honestly, the cool thing about Unreal is that you could make a game that didn't have a lot of C++ stuff in it, and it would still run pretty well.
Yeah, you could run it all in blueprints.
If you knew your blueprints well, you could make a really efficient game that would run on a lot of platforms without ever touching a piece of code.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's where I just never have been really good at coding. I know enough to be dangerous, but it's like I get so frustrated by a damn comma that it just makes me want to punch something.
Yeah, I get in the syntax area. What the fuck? Okay.
That used to make me so angry.
You can run into the same stuff though using blueprints. Like to do blueprints effectively, you do kind of have to have a general understanding of how code is assembled and how it functions. Like the functions that you call in code often, that'll make a huge difference.
Just the basics. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, if you learn the basics of programming, you can at least start to learn another language, right? Like, because they're all pretty much the same. The way, you get your for loops, your while loops, your try and catch exceptions, all that stuff, right? It's all within all that stuff. It's just knowing it's just like learning another piece of like software, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, I'm tired of learning new software too.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit over it too.
I'm just so like, man, all right, can we just unify? Like, but it's
why I only use Houdini. It's like
it's kind of.
I feel like after 25 years, I've finally become comfortable with Photoshop.
just in time for Adobe to be falling off. Like
now they get AI. Now as soon as I do, they come out with AI, and all I have to do is type that shit in there. Now I got to learn how to prompt.
Man, I came so close to installing Comfy UI the other day, and then just didn't.
You got scared.
No,
it was going to change your world.
I hit the point where I realized that like installing it, running it locally wasn't as easy as it was to do like Stable Diffusion. And I was
none of that stuff's easy, man. I started looking into it.
I don't want to say
even just to install it makes my head hurt.
I don't want to say easy. Like, I mean, it's easier. It's simpler and less convoluted to install Cozy UI to use an online service than it is to have it running locally from your machine. And that's where I was like, I don't want all my prompts going into some server that's logging my IP. And
yeah, I watched a video and I was literally like 3 minutes into it until I was like, this is not something I'm going to tackle.
Yeah. I mean, it would be
like,
cool.
That I couldn't. It's just, good Lord, it's a commitment, right? Like, it's like, like we said, learn a whole new way of like thinking and, and whatnot. And so I plan on to purely benefit off of the other people that learn exactly how to manipulate that.
Sure. Stuff. Yeah. Let everybody else jump into the fire for now. Fine. Whatever. It's bleeding edge still.
You go make me a mat tool.
At some point,
go make me a mat tool.
Well, and that's exactly it. Like, those are the areas where it's going to be, sooner or later, it's just going to be like, hey, we use this for roto, we use this for plate cleanup, we use this for de-aging or for adding age, or whatever. Like, there are certain areas where it just works well.
Oh God, I might not ever have to key mix transform ever again to do beauty work.
But I mean, we are approaching the point now where it's getting harder and harder to bill for certain jobs or get, you even get certain jobs anymore under, like DMP work is it's few and far between unless you've got.
I don't understand the slash in prices of everything. Like, work right now, like any work that I've been able to find, like it's peanuts. It's such peanuts, and it's like, well, you only have like $5 to do it. It's like, all right, fine. It's $5 is better than nothing. But like, I don't understand what. I mean, I guess thanks Obama.
Well, yeah. I mean, also, man, aside from thanking Obama.
Sorry, I decided.
No, it's a lot of. I mean, there's been a huge boom in the amount of people who like places, schools, online education stuff. Like there's an entirely new like the new wave of available workforce every year in VFX has to have been now like 5, 6, 7 times what it was every year than when any of us entered the industry. You know, because back then it was very much like you might be able to get a degree from a school or something, but you were still kind of relatively self-taught unless you were coming out of somewhere like Noman or whatever. Like now, like none of those, my point is none of those resources were available to anybody. And it was kind of still to some degree a cottage industry, right? Like if you worked in the industry back in the early 2000s, good chance was that within 5 years, you kind of had met the majority of most of the people who had worked on stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you watch the credits to a film with great, like, you know, with like big tent budget visual effects, and you're just like, man, there is not a single English pronounceable name in that list of people that are doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a global, you know, and they mentioned it back in the 2010, 2011, you know, it's a global economy now, and everything is going like we're sending it away, and they meant it. You know what I mean? Like they were.
Yeah, but you know how it works, right? It all goes in ebb and flows, right? Like as soon as they do that, then there's going to be some Marvel Disney leak of some information because of something that was sent over somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then that stuff will come right back.
Right. But I mean, it hasn't come back yet.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't. You're right. And you know, I guess my point, you know, and not the point of like it'll never come back, but I mean like there's always going to be a reason to have you know, some part of it close to home, I guess. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, they'll have,
yeah, I think there'll be smaller shows, right? You know,
yeah.
Well, that's what I meant. Like, I think smaller studios, smaller operations are definitely going to be what's kind of the future of our world. Of you know, it's not going to be these big bloated companies of 700 artists anymore. I don't think.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely
Well,
that's
not
true.
here in the States anyway.
Well,
Those kind of shots and stuff will go over to those teams in different countries and stuff. But like
in countries where teams can be exploited, where you know the workforce can be exploited, they will eventually catch up because there is nothing else for those people to really, you know what I mean? Like they have the resources, they have the time, and they're just like, this is better than whatever the other options are locally, and so they'll go for it, right? Like they'll just do whatever it is to live whatever kind of life that is just only available to them. And so I don't fault, you know what I mean? I don't fault any of those people, and I also don't fault like the studio heads. You know, they're going to turn a buck in an economy that is going down the toilet with inflation and everything else. Like that's you know, that's the world we live in.
I've often wondered why like Amazon and like Netflix and Apple like studios don't have more post-production teams, in the sense of why they don't have their own visual effects teams that just does all their stuff. There's so much content. Why wouldn't they?
Because it's a lot easier to lose money to a vendor than it is to lose it internally. And all three of us know that VFX is a money pit. It is a money pit.
Well,
There is nothing.
that pit doesn't seem to funnel into my pocket.
It does absolutely never does.
Oh,
But here's the thing. Here's the question I'll ask you, man. When was the last time? And this is, you know, this is no fault of anyone's. It's just kind of the nature of everything. When was the last time that you worked on a bid that didn't go where you were like, man, when we finished, we were right on the nose on that sucker?
I'll even pose this question: when we've all done this, everyone has done a favor for a client. When has that favor ever come back to be a monetary return on investment?
If you guys do it for this price, we'll come back and
Never. There's never been the next project has never been, hey, this next look, we got a little surplus of money. We're gonna make up on the last project for you from this project. All right. We got you. Don't worry. We're people of our word, and we're gonna double pay you on this project in order to make up for the last project. That has never happened in the history of visual effects.
Yeah, never. Right. It's a rigged game. It's all friggin' pieces.
Like you do the favor the first time, and that same client's always going to come back to you and be like, "Hey, well, last time you did it for this much money," and you're like, "No, I did a favor."
It's always a turd painted like a carrot.
It's got the little lines in it and everything.
Yeah, artfully painted like a carrot.
Artfully painted like a carrot.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just again, that's just kind of it's led a lot of us to be at the point where, I mean, to say a lot of us have been burnt out is an understatement, right? Like burnout is, I've seen that talked about on a lot of VFX podcasts where people are talking about, like, how do you manage burnout? It's just like, well, if you work in a VFX, you don't. You
just live with it.
You don't get to, man. You go from job to job for as long as you can before you're just like, I'm gonna lose my ever loved shit.
I started out in visual effects and I stood on the gas and I haven't got up yet.
But there are people that I know that are still in, that got in. They were in before me and they got up and elevated into positions. And they're still there, and I see them posting on LinkedIn and stuff, and they're just like, "Yeah, congratulations to the team for this and that." And like they've risen up to positions where I'm just like, man, how do you me personally, man, I wasn't able to reconcile it. Like after a certain point, I was like, I gotta go. This is not like, I need a change. I need fresh air, man. This is like being trapped under a wave in the ocean, and I'm running out of air. Like that's how it felt to me. I'm like, I don't understand. That person just has an entirely different, or any of those people have an entirely different chemical makeup in their brain that allows them to just be like, I'm going to live under the boot of this totally stupid shit, and force it on other people too. Like, I don't, what I mean? It's not, I'm not heralding those people and being like, these are great people. I'm being just kind of like, these people have caused a lot of damage to coworkers, and they're still just like, whatever, that's the way it is. That's the industry. And there's no incentive for them to change anything. There's only like, well, I get my marching orders from my boss and I still have a job, and there's no, I think there's a lot wrong with VFX personally. A lot of things that could benefit from some positive change, things that I don't think, I think unionizing, if anyone wants to challenge me on what I just said, I think unionizing would have been great 30 years ago.
Yeah, back in the day. Now,
20 years ago, even now, it's kind of just like pissing into the wind and being like, "We did it, Joe."
Remember back in the day when you get hooked up with a recruit, like you would have a recruiter that would, or you'd have an agent that would, find you jobs, and the days.
I know
of that
people who had
gone
agents, and I was like, yeah, stupid even back then. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, getting an agent, if you were established and you had that agent and that agent didn't have a big, huge talent pool that was ahead of you already, and you wanted to work outside of Los Angeles, it totally makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like in that regard, all day long. Every day, sure. I would hire an agent, pay them 15% of whatever they could negotiate or whatever the deal was, and have them just be my headhunter, man. Find me work and then just feed it to me, and I'll sit here in my shack in Washington or wherever the heck I want to live and handle it that way all day long. But living in LA, having an agent, it just seemed always like, huh.
Well, that's because you're, like the people that took advantage of that, though, are those people that bounced and moved and elevated, like what you were saying, that some of those people are those people that took advantage of those situations, right? And that, because you had this other guy working for 15%, they were giving you these opportunities, being like, hey, frame store over here is hiring a so-and-so, and I know a guy. You're like, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, all the jobs I always got was always a word of mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that like what you were saying earlier in the early 2000s, whatever, like, you knew everybody. So like, if you had an agent that knew and was connected, all they had to do was call up and be like, "Hey, Joe, I got a guy," and and then you're in. And so like that was, if you got in with the right person, they were definitely worth their 15%.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but
especially because back then too, it was such gig based as well, right? Like you were based on a project, and you'd move from project to project to project, so it made more sense. There were no staff positions back then.
Yeah, and I'm curious, man, on how a lot of those agents are doing nowadays. Like in all of this, are those agents still being able to feed all of their flock work? Are they still?
Could you imagine that part of our industry?
Like, that's got to be. That's got to be. You got to be sweating like a hooker.
Agents haven't worked in months.
There's probably no
Years.
visual effects agents anymore. I would imagine.
Right.
I can't imagine there is.
Unless you're like some sort of like big shot VFX suit that works.
Maybe in like Vancouver, but yeah.
Well, even
I don't even know.
Man, from what I've been seeing, work in Vancouver is slim to none.
Well, that is true. The Canadian tax credits or whatever they screwed that up or something.
They got something happened in Montreal. They got it too. Right, and that's sad, man. That was a booming thing that hadn't seen its way through to the other side just yet either. Not that Vancouver even was at this point. You know what I mean? Vancouver, I'd say, probably still had another good 5 to 10 years in it before doing their little dead cat bounce. And a lot of this is, I don't want to say unprecedented, but a lot of it's unmapped still too, right? Like, these places go however they get their money. They go through and it's kind of, they get their money, run their productions, and then it's on to the next place that'll offer them subsidies. So what I'm curious about, man, is who I've never made my way through to find out who the people are who negotiate those subsidy deals are. That's always been the dark. That's always been the dark corner that I'd never found to shine a flashlight in.
Well, what's funny is that there are the groups, right? Like, so the film commissions and whatnot, and like after moving to North Carolina, like I'm here in the capital, right? And so I decided, like, when I was here last time when I lived here, I got involved with the North Carolina Film Commission. It was when they were sunsetting the tax credits here in North Carolina about 10 years ago. And so they had their bill for 10 years, and where the film commission was mad is that the whenever a bill runs its term, they call it sunsets. Basically, it just once it's done, and if they don't vote on it, it's just over. And so, like, that's what happened with the tax credit. They didn't even have it up for a vote. Like, it just sunset. It just ran out of time, and so they had like this big thing. They had this big rally at the state capitol, and they were like, everybody come down and help us. And so we went down there, and when I went down there, like, somebody put a bunch of papers in my hand and was like, you want to volunteer? I'm like, sure. They're like, all right, well, you're going to go meet with state congressmen and all this stuff. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, and so we had to go like talk to these people and talk to, and I remember sitting down with this one guy, right? I didn't know what I was talking about. It was me and this other dude. We sit down and we're with some state representative, and our county, I don't know what it was, but like he had a county that he represented in North Carolina. And we're talking about the film credit, it's going to sunset. We'd really like your support. And he was like, well, I'm not, my constituents are not going to support pornography on the screen, or pornography on their, movie screens or whatever. And I was like, and I happened to know after reading their little pamphlet that, like, pornography, it was not included in the tax credit, right? Like, so I was trying to be like, oh, well, pornography is not included in the tax credit. He looked at me, he goes, when a man and a woman are kissing in front of my children, that is pornography. And I was like, oh, okay, and so I just kind of sat back, like, I didn't know how to answer that. And then, like, a few seconds later, he was like, oh, man, I'm messing with you. He was like, I'm actually from California. He was like, I went to Berkeley and, like, all this stuff. He was like, I completely agree with all, blah, 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 what y'all doing. He was like, but it ain't ever going to happen or whatever. And so they ended up letting it sunset. But, like, so anyway, I thought that whole thing was fun. And so when I've moved back here, I thought, I'd like to be involved with them and see, like what you said, like, like what is there with all of that? That'd be kind of cool. I'm right here in the Capitol. I have contacted them, I don't know how many times, to try and help them involved, but whatever, and no one has ever contacted me back. Like like the director of the film committee, I've emailed them directly, because I got contacts, I can find out who's who, right? And like, no emails back whatsoever. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
I gotta wonder if whoever was in charge of it last time maybe raided the coffers a little too hard, and they were just like, they kind of burnt the bridge on it. Like it ended up not making any money for the state and being a drain rather than a boom. And then what
they think though is that the incentives are supposed, and that's what they thought. This is what I had some other people tell me, was that an incentive is to incentivize the company to move to the state. Yes. Once they're in the state, then after the incentive runs away, they stay there. Well, that they didn't understand that that's not how the film industry is going to work. And like the moment that thing sunset, like everything left the state.
Everybody pulls up stakes and goes, man. They're
Immediately.
They're gypsies.
Like in the middle of production.
Yep.
Dirty gypsies.
Well, I mean, the last film that I worked on that had stuff shot in Colorado was Fast 7, and I remember seeing all that stuff. For those around the time I kind of started setting my sights on Colorado, and they shot a bunch of it in like Aspen or somewhere like that, somewhere out here, and I was just like, man, that's cool. So when I go out there, maybe there'll be some industry, still left over, you know what I mean? And not a thing, man. Like, and they were just incentivizing to shoot stuff here. But then at the time, what I found out later was it was mostly Vancouver film crews showed up, which explained why I ended up having to paint out 20, 30 crew members out of the set that could have just hid behind a damn tree or something.
Oh my God, I'm painting out crew members.
Dude, it was just rookie, it was amateur hour on all the shoots on that. And for no fault of anybody on the crew. They were new, they didn't know, and that, whoever the first, second unit, everybody was cutting their teeth on that stuff. But I think subsidizing stuff for that to that level is good in the sense of like it honestly makes more work for seasoned visual effects artists. No matter if it's only for one show or whatever, but it's still just like.
Well, I mean, not a lot of people incentivize post-production. So, I mean, at least Georgia does, which is good. I mean, New York and, a couple other big states, but like California's all fucked up right now.
Yeah, it's not. I'd be surprised if California can pull out of the tailspin that they put themselves in.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Well, they had such a mass exodus. I mean, between 2020 and the pandemic and then all the strikes and everything, the artists have just scattered.
Yeah, well, not only that, like a lot of big industry is talking about leaving California.
Yeah, well, they have. They already have.
Elon is bailing.
Most all the gas people, all oil people are all pretty much gone now. State Farm pulled out and revoked everyone's insurance there recently. Like there was millions of people without insurance.
Really? State Farm just pulled out of California.
Yep, due to legislation, I think. Yeah.
Like so, if you had your home insurance through State Farm, you just no longer had home insurance.
Yep. Yeah, that was the deal. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess they give their customers some warning, like, hey, you're gonna have to find new because we're pulling out.
Yeah,
the hair gel companies will never leave as long as Gavin Newsom's at the helm.
Is that his cornerstone votes?
It sure is. Man, the more the years go on, the more that guy reminds me of the mayor in the Sony version of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
He's just that guy.
Well, gentlemen, we've about reached the end of another wonderful episode of Deep Fried Pixels,
the best podcast on all of the internet.
I mean, it's one of the most unpredictable podcasts. We ourselves don't even know exactly what each week may bring.
Right? We're just playing.
Yeah, we are. We are playing our little pan flute.
Damn, what are you saying? There you go.
All right. Well, until next time, gentlemen, y'all have a great week. Oh. You got to get one of those then, huh?
Yeah. Sure did.
All right. We got to figure the Pixies. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.